right, this is the user friction in Cosmos panel. Let's go ahead and start with a quick 15-second introduction, your name, your project, and we'll just dive right into the content.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sid from the Comdex team.
I'm Joe from Coinall. We are the leading DEX aggregator. We've done like 12 chains, done about 2D transaction volume in the past 2 years. Yeah.
I'm John from Mystic Labs and Calypso. We built the MetaMask Snap for Cosmos, and we also are deploying Calypso on the Borg blockchain.
Gustavo with Forward Motion. I teach the undocumented community about crypto.
Amazing, wonderful set of panelists. So the first question in this panel of user friction Cosmos, who are the users and why are they here compared to other options? I want to just dig into that.
I think I'll go first. I see it more like a spectrum. It starts at someone who just heard about this space and wanting to make a quick buck because they saw someone else do it. That's the one end of the spectrum. And at the other end of the spectrum is someone who's fully ideologically aligned with what this whole space stands for, beyond just the short-term opportunities that open up along the way. So yeah, your users, anyone who knows absolutely nothing about what they're doing, all the way to someone who knows everything about what they're doing and probably even more. And this divide is what we're really looking to conquer in this time, so that everyone has the same way of getting there.
I think Sid looks at it horizontally in a spectrum. I've thought about this a lot. I think of it vertically in a like human hierarchy of needs. I think the bottommost of the pyramid is everyone just wants to maximize P&L. So realistically, most people are here for the money. Up the stack, eventually people care about decentralization, people care about ownership, governance. But yeah, I think it generally goes lesser and lesser people up, and the bottom is, yeah, people are here to make money, honestly.
If we're talking about Cosmos, like specifically, I would categorize in like 2 adjectives. I would say very involved in comparison to other ecosystems and governance, and really just, I mean, everyone talks about the DPS and drama per second, but they're very involved with the projects that are being built in Cosmos. And then from a financial standpoint, they're just passive yield for the most part in comparison to, you know, Ethereum and I mean, especially Solana and there's other ones where there are a lot of high HFTs not being traded. Staking is the whole premise of Cosmos, so I would say the majority are passive yield investors.
You know, I've been teaching this for a while, and I realized the users that are the most important are the ones that need crypto, that need this decentralized system to proceed in their day-to-day life. I talk immensely with the undocumented community, and for those who don't know, the undocumented community are usually migrants from other countries that come either to the United States, they go into first world countries to seek financial freedom, to seek a financial access to essentially just be part of that, because in their home country it wasn't there. So that's my main focus about how, you know, the users that actually need it. I think even we talk about like why Bitcoin was created, and there's people who use it and there's people who need it. You know, those are 2 different categories that I try to strive every day to make sure that the users who need it, you know, have access to it.
I love that. There was such a diverse set. And it's such a simple question too. Who are the users and why they're here? And we got a myriad of all totally valid answers. And so I guess the follow-up question to this is, why have more users not onboarded into Cosmos? What are we doing wrong? We're years into this journey at this point. Why are we being outpaced by other ecosystems? Where's the gap? Where's the friction?
Yeah.
Can you choose this one?
No, it's off. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Now.
I'm gonna say wallet. If we're being honest, most people do not want another wallet. I like to give this analogy. I'm great on analogies and metaphors, by the way. If you went to ShopRite, you wouldn't have one wallet for ShopRite and then go to Walmart and have a completely different wallet on the other side of your pocket. So you shouldn't have to do that for Cosmos coming from Ethereum or Bitcoin or Solana. And there's some people, very small percent, that they started their crypto journey in Cosmos, but the overwhelming majority came from somewhere else into Cosmos. So I'm gonna do my best to not promote myself too much on here, but you know, a lot of the stuff we built, like connecting MetaMask into Cosmos, is kind of answering that, and then abstracting the wallet entirely using just an email address. I mean, there's Capsule, Magic Link, and Dynamic, and a bunch of other people that are answering that same question, and we're just going to be using that tech. But I do think it's the wallet. It's so simple, but nobody wants to have two wallets and split up their funds.
I'm going to take a contradicting point to John's take. So I think the consumer behavior is that if there's enough incentives, you find a way to make it work. Right? I mean, you say physically your leather wallet, sure, you don't carry multiple, but look at Starbucks loyalty cards, your miles programs. If there's an incentive, people will find a way to onboard. Yeah, so I think the wallet side, it is one way to think about it. It does contribute to the friction, but given the current cycle is still largely financialized, perhaps the lack of 100x opportunities is what causes less users. I mean, you look at like chains like Solana, every other day there's like ridiculous like tokens coming in with 1 mil liquidity, right? The memes are just bigger, louder, there's more attention. I think Cosmos has a lot of indie developers with good builders with proper ethos, but I think disappointingly enough that the market currently still goes for the memes rather than like sound principles of like the product for real use cases. So I think like honestly, given limited attention and capital, when ecosystems have just larger, I guess 100x financial opportunities, people hit that instead of here. Yeah. And of course, every single chain in Cosmos you have to onboard separately, right? We've got folks like Skip, we've got folks. What we're trying to do is try to make it easier to go in between chains, but honestly, it's still a different chain. You still need gas. I think SEC support is one contributing factor as well, right? Like a new app chain spins up, there's limited SEC support, right? If you look at by market cap, our top 10 Cosmos chains, maybe 3 of them just got Maxi and like not Binance, not like the tier 1 exchanges, which is so the access parts is sort of lacking a little.
I love this perspective because it's such a simple question of like why are there more users that aren't here, but there's multiple contributing variables to the problem of creating that friction. And any other friction points that you guys want to add in, because we already hit on 2 or 3 big ones.
No, I think I align more with his answer and kind of disagree with your answer. Primarily because when you look at users who are drawn to your ecosystem through incentives, it's also very likely that the same user leaves the moment the incentives dry up, and then they have to go somewhere else where the incentives are still available. Over the longer journey, you want to attract users who want to stay there because they align with everything that's being done, and they're also having a good time while doing it. So I think, to add to what he said, when you free up the entrance at the top of the funnel, you're going to have more people down the funnel, which is why I absolutely agree that wallet interface has a big part to play in this. In addition to the fact that how easy is it for someone to access that token, get it into a wallet, and then like enter the decentralized realm of it. So yeah, I think that's my take on this.
Yeah, totally. I agree with that. Something barriers to entry. How many steps do we have to take in order to stake shape? How many steps? Like from a user, like I talked to a bunch of students, they know zero about crypto, and I said, Dan, look at this amazing protocol, take a look at it. But for them to stake shape, it's gonna take creating a wallet, bridging, it's gonna take like 10 steps before they can actually execute that, you know? And as we know, like the more steps, the barrier to entries, the less likely that user will commit. So that's a huge thing that I've been trying to work towards. And lately I've thought about, okay, how can we get users to have a wallet almost instantly? So just adding to that point, like just instantly, you know. And right now, the only kind of thing that I have that I thought about is paper wallets. I have a group of students that don't know anything about it. I can print out paper wallets with pre-existing, funds in them to where it's already has shade in there. And I say, here, take this and just download Kepler. And it's already going to have that account. He's able to already move. He doesn't have to talk to exchanges, Coinbase, do the whole, sending out, in and out to get to shade and stuff like that. So making the barriers to entry is probably the most important thing for a newcomer. The less steps we get to them being able to stake shade, then I think the more users are going to come, because I think we lose users on that path.
Less steps, good.
Yes, sir.
So now as a historical, maybe more positive note, how far have we come in Cosmos with UI UX? Maybe a little bit of reminiscing. Feel free to share your worst user experience story. I would love to just kind of reminisce a little bit on, we have made progress. There's a long ways to go, but anyone that wants to share maybe their perspective on the progress that has been made.
I think I'll just say Kepler v1 versus Kepler v2.
Yeah, I couldn't even get into Cosmos when I first tried. I think it was 2019. I had to use StealthX, which is still a thing. I still use it. But there was no way to easily get into Cosmos. You had to really dig deep and kind of just know somebody to get in. I also think like using Osmosis now versus then, it's so much easier now. So much easier now. I mean, it's the old dashboards. I don't know. I'm not gonna get too deep, but yeah, it's way different now. Way different now.
Yeah, just super smooth. Like smart contracts, executing transactions, IBC, everything has just been beautifully seamless in today's world. Because I remember before, just even transferring, through bridges was a lot more difficult. We have I think collectively we've been working together to make what we are today. And I think that has been like the huge improvement. Like everybody, you slowly start to see how every group of blockchains starts to work together. And I think dang, that's beautiful. Before it was you had one blockchain here, one blockchain there. They weren't really talking, but they had IBC. And now it's you see the map of zones. That image is beautiful, man. It's beautiful, and I show that image to a lot of people just to show how the coordination has happened over the years. I mean, you only had a few blockchains back then, and now it's it looks like a spider web that's almost unlimited. And I think that's amazing progress.
I think PFM contributes a lot to smoother user experience. Have you seen Ethereum? You want to provide liquidity, approve token contract on from token, approve contract on to token, approve liquidity pool contract, then you deposit. You're down $100 before you do anything. I mean, on Cosmos ecosystem, Osmosis, 2 clicks, right? More to be done, but I mean, I don't even know how that's a comparison, which is why I have strong conviction on the part on financial incentives, right? Because you hear these people entering new ecosystems, it's super rough. You pay gas 4 times just to provide liquidity, but hey, it's a million APR, right? 1,000,000%. So it's they find a way to overcome the friction when there's sufficient incentives, right? It's just typical consumer cost benefit behavior. So yeah, I think we've gone. We are really smooth. We're probably I do believe even if you 5x the smooth the user experience from here, there still needs to be other reasons to make people come. Theoretically, if someone could buy Osmo in 5 seconds, would he buy it? I think it's questionable, right? Because it's oh, what's Osmo? Why would I buy it? Versus in other ecosystems where they already have the attention, they have the mind share, which I think is actually the issue, is the attention part, not really the user experience, because you've got enough attention. Look at Blast yesterday, right? People are using bridge that is accidentally went live. People are using bridges that they don't even know whether the contract works, everyone is just like telling their friends, oh, use a burner wallet, put some money in, if you lose money, whatever, but here's the upside. So they still find a way to go through like shitty user experiences, but I mean, because they see the incentive, they want to do it still.
So, quick thing, you said osmosis in 5 seconds. I'm thinking about, do you think that it gets better with more centralized exchanges that list osmosis in that scenario? Or is it more, because how do we get osmosis or other big Cosmos tokens to get that attention they deserve, right? Is it just, throw the product on our Twitter and stuff like that, or get creative marketing, or is it getting osmosis listed into more centralized exchanges?
I think it's the former, right? Because even if you get the centralized exchange access, people might not even know what's the token, right? It's like if I see ADC on Binance, I'm like, what the hell is this? Why would I buy it, right? But if I see, for example, a Blast token, I'm like, oh, I've heard of this shit for like 7 months, right? All the attention, I already know exactly what this is. This is going to be this is a layer 2 with this purpose. So, I think the mindshare part is really like, I strongly believe like the attention is always the most costly part of like building a business. It's like you can build perfect product, no attention, no mindshare. Yeah, it's just tough.
I want to kind of recenter the conversation. You mentioned map of zones and this kind of beautiful web that continues to scale out. And one thing that kind of scares me is we kind of have this n squared entropy of like, what is the drop-down menu going to look like in 5 years? Right? 1,000 gas tokens? I mean, that's a nightmare. And this is, Ethereum doesn't have this problem because there's a shared unit of accounting. So how is Cosmos like sovereignty and this ability to just kind of this infinite horizontal scalability, but it's going to make the user experience infinitely more complicated and bad. So what's the solution? Or thoughts?
I actually don't think it's a problem. I've heard this from Andres, the great teacher of today's world for crypto, and he mentioned, how many blockchains will there be? And then his response was, as many as there's individuals who want to build it. And I think, it's like, okay, let me take it a little deep. And he was like, how many websites is on the internet? It's almost unlimited. And is it an issue to have so many websites, so many browsers? And I just don't think so. I think everybody will slowly start to navigate if they want to use Brave browser, if they want to use Safari, they want to use Firefox, they want to use whatever website, server. I think that's the beauty of it, and even to the name, the Internet of Blockchains, right? Because it builds bigger, broader scope than just one type of stack.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you for a second here, because I have some more bias here, but I'm gonna do my best to not show it. But I'll do a comparison to what you just said about the internet and internet blockchains. Early internet didn't have search engines. You had to manually type in the web addresses. So I would compare Cosmos today to that, where you have to manually have the gas for each chain. And the search engine will be the front-end applications that actually manage the gas for you, whether that's swapping or selecting the proper gas for you immediately, which is Calypso's doing that, but we're not going to talk about it. But yes, I do think it is a front-end application issue, not a blockchain issue. And I do know that chains like Osmosis, they support multiple gas tokens, and there's other chains that also do that. But it doesn't make sense to force these blockchains to support other tokens that don't really accrue value to their token. It makes more sense to put that responsibility on the front-end application.
I think the issue is actually not super hard to solve, like gas abstraction, right? It's just that we are in a space that's incredibly capitalistic, right? Is solving for interoperability between app chains the flavor of the month now? No, right? Instead, we have DA, we have whatever, right? Like raw service, you have AI. So if it becomes important enough, definitely builders come in to build it, right? Because there are folks like ERT, like RT, like there are multiple problems we can solve. It's just what do the users want at this current junction, right? Do they really care about snappy 5-second cross-chain experiences? If we solve that, so what, right? Is it gonna change the game? I don't think it does in like the next few months, purely because attention across like multiple app chains with like multiple very clear use cases, very clear incentives, it's just not there yet. So I think the problem would solve itself if there are incentives too, right? And as a builder, I actually am incredibly like disappointed with how the market prices certain projects, right? Like you see infrastructure on infrastructure that you don't need, no product, but bang, 5 billion valuation. And of course, when you see that, another 20 people try to do that, right? And VCs just price it based on comparables. Oh, layer 1 is 15 billion valuation. Why don't I back one with 300 mil valuation? Hopefully they make this like 100x, close to just match the incumbent, right? So if the market cares, builders will build. So yeah, that's why I strongly believe.
I think it's an interesting question. The way I see it, I just imagine that the future has to be like gasless for the user, which why I think, again, aligning with his answer earlier, like today when you use Uber to get here, you open your phone, you open Uber, you type your pickup point, you type your drop-off point, you book a ride. You actually don't know how many times the Uber front end has queried its back end to give you that information. And it's not your burden as a user to care about it. You have a service that you request, you demand it, and you get it. It's up to that app to figure out how many queries it has to send to its backend and give you the information you need. And I think blockchains as a whole need to get there, where the individual applications that are being used should be the ones that take the responsibility of covering gas. And for users, it's click, 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 go. Like, so I think that's something we're working towards, or always looking to collaborate on, because that's the kind of unified vision for the future of what all of this is all about. And yeah, there's a few things that I think we're working on, but it all boils down to being the responsibility of the application.
Rounding things out here, this will be the last question. How well do you think Cosmos has prioritized mobile compared to other ecosystems?
Not well. Kepler is a mobile app, but I think Leap was a mobile app too. Osmosis didn't really have a mobile app. It was on the Kepler mobile app. There's no real mobile applications in Cosmos. I mean, I can't really think of any. And if there are, they're not promoting it well. We're doing that too, but that's later. But it's something that may actually bring a lot of volume into the space, because everyone in here has a smartphone. Just like most of you, probably all of you also have a laptop. Your laptop is probably not with you. Maybe about half of you have a laptop with you, just because we're all nerds and we're crypto, but everyone has a smartphone, and everyone does Apple Pay or Google Pay, a wallet from their phone that they already have all their credit cards on, and I'm pretty sure Apple and Google are both making crypto wallets. And why wouldn't we want to have mobile apps to work with the highest population, the people with phones? So we should have a lot more mobile apps, because we really don't have any. Just being nice.
So CoinHall is fully functional on mobile. We integrate DEXs that their own front ends don't support mobile. So like if you try to go like directly via, let's say, Leap or Kepler, and then you hit the DEX front end, they're like, oh, we don't support mobile. We already support it. Can I honestly say that we contribute like 10x to their volume? Not really. I think the underlying incentive is still, can the guy make money? But obviously this is very nuanced. CoinHall is a trading platform, right? So as you can hear, my takes are very nuanced towards like the consumer being very capitalistic, trying to maximize P&L. But I think we provide a fairly decent mobile experience. But okay, I think some stats, like for Astropod, let's say on some chains like Injective and Say, for every one user that uses Astropod, 4 users use CoinHall. So mobile definitely does contribute, but does it contribute like crazy? I don't know. I think the day that I'm seeing like 90% of our volume is routed, or actually I don't think 90% is enough. Now we're doing like 50 to 80% of Astroport's volume, but it means that people are still willing to use their front end, even though their mobile experience is like subpar, right? Unless it's like 99.1, then I'll be like, okay, mobile would change the world. I think it improves it, but yeah, I think still, you still need to give the guy a destination. There must be some either financial interest or cultural, some meme value, something that the guy just is interested in as a consumer. And the user experience is like, it will work itself out, I think. Yeah.
So we're out of time here, so we'll just close with, I'll get an answer from each one of you. How many years out are we from what you would consider a frictionless UX? As a prediction.
5 years.
5 years?
Yes, sir.
1 out of 10?
I'll say 2 years. Let's do 2 years.
2 years?
2 years.
Innovation moves fast.
Two is fine.
2 years?
I would have said 2 as well.
Alright, well the average 6 plus 5, 11, divided by 4. Don't do math on stage. Alright, everyone, round of applause. Alright,